everyone, and welcome to the course on privacy and security in online social media. This is lecture 3.3, where we discuss about AI generated misinformation. So, we know that misinformation is very prominent on social media platforms, and with the rise of AI, we have a surge of misinformation online. This is mainly because AI tools have become powerful enough to create fake news articles, deep fake videos, synthetic voices, and even fake social media accounts. In fact, AI has become so good that the creation of misinformation has become so much faster, cheaper, and a lot more convincing, especially because of stuff like deepfake. So, pulling up this image from Statista, uh, this image basically shows the percentage or the share of regular adults as well as AI experts, and what they think could be a potential issue with the surge of AI. So we can see that the fact that most adults and experts find AI causing or spreading misinformation to be more of a problem than, in fact, AI leading to job loss. For example, we can see around 66% of adults and 70% of AI experts find AI spreading inaccurate information to be more of an issue compared to job loss, where we have 25% of experts and 56% of adults. Looking more at the categories here, we have AI leading to less connections between people, people not understanding what AI can do, bias in AI, uh, personal information being misused, and AI impersonating people. So the top two, uh, you say, problems that people are most worried about have to do with AI basically generating misinformation, or also known as disinformation. So what are the tools that people tend to use when they want to generate AI generated content or AI generated misinformation? So, the most common ones we can see are chatbots, especially ChatGPT and Google Gemini, which are the most widely used AI chatbots out there at the moment. For image generation, we have Dolly and Reface. Deepfake videos, we can see Deepface Lab and Synthesia. But it is important to note that ChatGPT and Gemini, these can also be used to create images and videos as well. Like their various models or the various versions of GPT and Google Gemini are being used to create images. We see a rise of this in AI generated uh, pictures or profile pictures that people are seeing, creating cartoon versions of themselves and such using GPT. So now let's actually go over a few examples of AI generated uh, misinformation. So the arguably one of the more popular ones we've seen is in 2023, around March of 2023. This image of the late Pope Francis became very viral, even though it was an AI generated image. So this image sports Pope Francis wearing a puffer jacket, a luxurious puffer jacket, which was viral for mainly two reasons. One, mainly probably it was quite humorous to see the Pope in this kind of attire, most likely because it wasn't his style. And two, it gave probably a scare of how realistic this image actually was. So this image was circulated first in Reddit uh, by an anonymous user, and it was created through an AI called Midjourney. So even though that the users themselves did state that the image was AI, this image quickly spread throughout all platforms, all social media platforms, and became very viral. And it fooled quite a lot of people because it looks extremely real and believable at the time. So even though the puffer jacket itself is very much a deepfake uh, image, so this really you can say shed some light on how advanced AI has come, or deepfakes have come, uh, in creating these really hyper realistic photos and possibly spreading all this inaccurate information. Second example we'd like to point out is this Twitter post, now taken out by a user called Whale Chart. Um, it shows an image of an explosion happening near the Pentagon. So the Pentagon is a U.S. government building, basically harbors all information about U.S. citizens, data about the country, military data, etc. It's like one of the biggest private information hubs in the United States. And essentially, this user Whale Chart had posted a photo of an explosion happening near the Pentagon, which caused basically a nationwide panic of, because this is a very important government building, and an explosion happening near that is seriously a big deal. Luckily, shortly after, the Department of Defense came in, and they basically refuted, saying that this is a deepfake image, and there was no um, explosion near the Pentagon. But even then, it caused quite a scare around the country, because of the fact that it looked so real, and it was quite dangerous actually to spread this kind of information that an explosion has happened near a very prominent government building. Luckily, shortly after its post in May of 2023, it was taken down off of the platform, but still, it did was a really big eye opener on how uh, AI is being used to spread quite harmful information, or harmful misinformation. So another form of content we see, and this is very popular on stuff like Instagram Reels, uh, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and all forms of short form content, which is storytelling content. So this is form of short form uh, storytelling, where people use AI to create these stories, whether or not they're real or not. Sometimes they pose them as real, sometimes as not. We don't know, and they'll use AI and deepfakes to create like these hyper realistic CGI looking uh, information or videos as usually a form of entertainment. Um, as you can see here, they'll create like fictional characters and stuff and create an elaborate storyline, which get tons of likes and tons of shares across platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. So this is apparently very popular now on terms of short form content, mainly because it's very interesting to see how AI can create such elaborate storytelling, and it even generates a humongous fan base on various social media platforms. So now that we know that AI can generate all this misinformation, how do we actually detect what information is AI generated and what is not? So it is important to note that just because information is AI generated does not make it automatically false, but you should always have some form of uh, skepticism when it comes to this. So you should always ensure that uh, skepticism. You should always make sure that you're always fact checking with some basically source or some form of credibility. So let's see a few softwares that are publicly available to check AI generated content. So first and foremost, we should check whether it is true or false. And one way to do that is through Google fact checker tools. So basically, cross check with multiple sources. One of them is Google fact checker, which makes it really easy to check whether information is correct or not. Second thing is using AI detecting software. This includes stuff like GPT-0 and Quillbot. And finally, in terms of AI photos and videos, you can use watermarking. So SynthID is a software created by Google, or a watermark created by Google, that detects AI generated photos and essentially puts a watermark on those photos. Platforms such as Instagram and Facebook will have meta labels as well. Basically, if any post has been up, it'll flag it as AI content. We'll look at an example a bit later. Google themselves also, YouTube has something very similar to these meta labels. They have their own form of flagging AI generated content. So, taking one example, this is software called GPT-0, as we discussed before over here. We can see that I've basically asked ChatGPT to create some random text on AI generated misinformation. I had pasted that here, and through a basic scan, we can see that this is highly confident that it is an AI generated text. So we can check for stuff like news articles, any form of fake news and stuff like that. We can basically copy paste the text here to see if it was AI generated news. Again, doesn't necessarily mean that it's fake news, but always have some form of skepticism when it comes to AI generated content, because AI generated content is not always 100% correct. Even even if AI is talking about a true event, it could get some details wrong. So always make sure you fact check. One of the ways you can do that is through GPT-0. So next example here is, as I was talking about meta labels. We have Instagram over here, and we can see an AI generated uh, post right here about a robot doing a painting, and we can see that we have a flag called uh, made with AI. So this tag can be either selected by the user themselves, or it can be automatically flagged by Instagram. So a user, if they're posting willingly or knowingly AI generated content, they can choose to select the made with AI tag. If they don't, and Instagram has sensed that this post is actually AI generated content, or someone else has flagged it as AI generated content, like reported it by another user, then the made with AI tag will pop up. If you ever open Instagram and try to make a post, do see if you can find this tag. It's very much available, and do test it out, right? So yeah, now that we've gone over stuff like meta labels again, which is available not only on Instagram and Facebook, by the way, but also platforms such as TikTok and YouTube as well. We spoke about how to detect that through other tools and what actually classifies as AI generated content, the types of it, and such. It is important to note that anytime you find misinformation that is AI generated content, always fact check it with some credible source. These credible sources can include actual, big news articles. Uh, Even those can be kind of sketchy sometimes. Besides news, we have various government articles or government sites. These are like the biggest forms of credibility you should take in terms of checking whether or not something is factual or not, and cross check it with multiple references or multiple sources. It's always better to check rather than to believe information as it is. So that is all for the lecture. If you do have any questions, please raise them up in the discussion forum. And thank you so much for watching.